Alright, people. So big news coming out of UFC. CM Punk supposedly, well, not supposedly, he definitely signed with UFC. He talked of an interview. He was in an interview on UFC. I saw right after the UFC pay-per-view. Now, I'm not a UFC fan, but I heard about this, and I mean, good for Punk, I guess. He's trying new avenues, and I hope I'm definitely rooting for him to win. I'm not a big UFC fan, but I'm definitely rooting for him to win. And think of this, I was thinking of this. Think of if we got to see a CM Punk Brock Lesnar match in the UFC. Think of how awesome that would be. You could see CM Punk Brock Lesnar at SummerSlam 2013, and then maybe they fight, at UFC. Probably not going to happen, but just a little thought there. But it's cool information that CM Punk is going to UFC. And again, good for him. I still like Punk. I'm still a fan of him, and I will definitely be following him through UFC. I don't know if it's worth spending however much it costs to buy a fucking UFC pay-per-view to watch CM Punk, but I'm sure this is gonna get a lot of attention. UFC is gonna get a lot of attention, and it's really it's in your face to Vince McMahon, because Vince or WWE never denied the allegations put across, that CM Punk alleged WWE, so I'm considering them fact, and that's just a fucking slap in the face. That's karma. That's what Vince McMahon gets for mistreating CM Punk. That's what he gets for mistreating him. It's gonna watch this competition, UFC, and you might not consider them competition, but they are competition. They're very similar. The only difference is one's fake and one's not. That's pretty much the only difference. So, and UFC has promos before their matches too. They have weigh-ins and shit. So I mean, it's pretty similar. It's way more competition than TNA, and I'm sure a lot of WWE fans are UFC fans as well. I'm sure there's a lot of cross there between fans. But good for Punk. Good for UFC. It's what Vince McMahon gets for mistreating Punk like that. And again, I expect Punk to be back in WWE. Probably not wrestling, but I think eventually he will come back. It may take a year, it may take 10 years, but I think he'll eventually come back. But good for CM Punk. Good for UFC. And I'll be looking forward to watching him. Again, not a big UFC fan, but this really attracts my attention, because I've watched Brock Lesnar's matches in UFC, and Brock Lesnar's just a fucking monster. And watching Brock, when I was watching Brock Lesnar, I actually had a reason to root for somebody to win. Now I have a reason to root for somebody in the UFC to win. And I'm not a big fan of the UFC. I mean, it's just two guys fighting each other. I mean, kind of the concept, I think, is kind of stupid. Just two guys beating up each other. I mean, aren't fights supposed to be bad? I mean, I don't really get the whole point of it. Kind of, a little bit retarded. But now that I have somebody in there who I actually know, I guess I could root for CM Punk. So there you go, people. CM Punk signs with the WWE. Breaking news from like fucking 2 hours ago. So there you go, people.